So it's Easter Day. So meaning it's, if you guys know me and you've been following me for quite a while on my social media, you know special holidays like this mean a lot to me because it just, my family and I have not always been the closest. So now that I get to spend more time with them and be around them more is just different. So I appreciate time like this with my family. But I do have a new video other than me rambling about how much family means to me. So, this video I want to talk about, I've done like videos where, you know, me giving tips about dating trans women, and I've talked about my dating experience, and I've just done a whole other different story times and etc. But I've never really like given tips or talked about the signs of, you know, someone that you shouldn't date, or like signs from, you know, the word that we always use in our trans community, tranny chasers or whatever. So because I've done a video of that topic, but it wasn't, I explained what a tranny chaser is, but I want to give signs to what they are or who they are. So if you want to know if you're a tranny chaser or what a tranny chaser is, keep on watching. Hi guys, welcome back. So I am just trying to find my notes to giving you tips and all that stuff. Well, not tips, like the signs of dealing with tranny chasers. I'm wearing pink, and I don't usually wear like bright colors like this. So it's kind of new for me, but I look good, so we're gonna keep it this way. So if you don't know the term tranny chasers, or you know what they are, stuff like that, I'll give you a quick what's it called, a quick teaching, I guess, about it. Tranny chasers are basically men who specifically only chase after trans women because they have a fetish for us, which is, you know, the worst feeling ever for someone who is trans, is, you know, being seen as a fetish or as a sex object. So we call them tranny chasers because, okay, off the bat, to tell you the truth, when I first started transitioning, I dealt with a lot of them, but I didn't know because I wasn't educated about it or like what they were. I just knew they existed, but I never really knew like the signs or stuff like that until like little by little I started seeing them myself, and I basically taught myself. So no one basically ever told me, and this is what that video is for, is that I want to teach those who maybe don't know what they really are, or the signs of them, or the signs to seeing a, you know, person who is a tranny chaser. I'm gonna say that word so much in this video, so I apologize. But yeah, so I'm gonna give you big indicators and stuff like that from, you know, that you should see in someone. I think it's very important because, you know, like the guys that I have talked to in the past, like they always did the right things and stuff like that, but as soon as like one specific topic like popped up, like I knew exactly where the conversation was actually leading and what it meant to have that conversation with that person. So, you know, obviously I didn't know this before, like when I just barely started my journey. You know, like I said, you know, I didn't even date for a year or half a year, when I first started my journey. But, you know, little by little, I did put myself out there. So obviously, you know, I just thought every guy was super romantic. But now that I actually sit here and think about it, I know that that's not what the whole agenda was or whatever. So the first one, like the first sign would be immediately asking if you are pre-up. So not even going to lie, pre-up and post-up, I honestly struggled with understanding both of those for such a long time. Basically pre-up, well, for those who don't know, I obviously didn't know, means someone who hasn't been operated, so meaning you haven't had any kind of surgeries. you know, immediately asking that question, just for one, is rude. For two, is just like you wanting to see if your fetish will be fulfilled, you know? So it's just like asking that question is like the most rudest and so uncalled for. But yeah, at the meantime, when I would get asked that, I honestly didn't even like see it that way. So I have come a long way. Number two, they can't take a lighthearted joke. So yeah, I honestly don't know a good example for this one. Actually, no, I used to talk to this guy who wouldn't take my jokes really well sometimes. So yeah, it's just, I honestly don't know why that would be one as a sign, but it is, I guess, apparently. So I'm doing some of my notes, and then I'm doing one of that I saw on Instagram posts about. So some of these are going to be my own, and some of them are going to be from this Instagram story that I saw that I screenshotted, and I wanted to do a video about it. So just to keep that in mind. Number three, cutting straight to sexual intercourse. Now this one for sure is just one huge example. It's just one huge thing that honestly automatically does, you know, tell you right away that that person is, if you're looking for a relationship or stuff like that, right away, like off the bat, when they ask about this, is just, it's a big no. That was like my biggest like red sign, and I mean my red flag that I would notice in so many conversations that I would have with so many people. So I automatically knew that it was not going to go anywhere. But yeah, every single conversation that I've, almost a good percentage of maybe like 96% of the conversations that I would had were, you know, automatically led to, you know, cutting straight into sexual intercourse and stuff. A good percentage was based with guys being sweet and stuff, but you know, little by little, I saw red flags. Some of these red flags. So, number four is unable to hear no as a final answer. This one, I can honestly go into a lot of ways of explaining it and a lot of details. Well, not details, but more of like explaining on how, what that means. A few examples, me, like, without being too detailed or whatever, I have dealt with a lot of guys not taking no for an answer. And not, I don't mean like physically, like I mean like through messages, like they were just nagging it on and like trying so hard and stuff like that automatically is a red flag. Like you should know this by now. But you know, for those who don't or whatever, is just, you know, guys are desperate and they will tell you and say anything they want to say. No offense to guys out there, but some of you guys can be pretty predictable. So, but yeah, that's number four. Number five is obsession with your male anatomy, meaning, you know, you still have your male parts. Yes, that one is definitely a, you know, big indicator of a trying chaser, is being obsessed with your male anatomy. It's one of the most upsetting things, and honestly, so I don't know how to say this without sounding so not bitchy, but like I'm closing off all doors and sexual pleasures and stuff, because you know everyone has like their own like sexual things that they prefer to do in the bedroom and stuff like that. But like when you just like hit off the bat and you're like obsessed with that, is honestly so gross and such a turn off. Like it's so unattractive. You know, I've talked to so many guys and they've told me like how hot it is and stuff, and I'm just like, dude, ugh. That's all I have to say is ugh. Yeah. So back to the first one, about immediately asking if you were pre-up. There is an appropriate time where you can ask a person. So basically, you know, because I have talked about this and I've always told you guys that that person is either going, she or he, you know, whenever they are comfortable enough or whenever they're ready to tell you, they're going to tell you. So that's basically like, the reason why I want to cover that is just because, you know, I don't want people to like look at my other videos and be like, oh, well, you say it's okay to ask, because it is okay to ask, but after a certain amount of time, like not automatically. Like that's so rude and honestly so uncalled for. Like you can, you know, it's gross. A lot of these are gross, and it's just honestly really sad that you know, trans women even have to deal with it. It's upsetting and disturbing. But yes, these are indicators and signs. Well, the biggest indicators of a, you know, tranny chasers or whatever. Yeah. I guess like there's a few girls that are okay with tranny chasers just because, you know, some of them are fully unexperienced, so you don't have to deal with someone who is not experienced and you have to explain everything to them and stuff like that. Personally, I honestly don't like to be seen as a fetish, and I don't like to be seen as a sex object, so I'm not okay with tranny chasers. Like on my Instagram, I've honestly put so many of them on blast, because honestly, like the messages that I get on Instagram are way more crazier than I get on any of my other social medias. Like, yeah, guys are just, I honestly want to know what goes through men's minds when they send messages like the ones that I get. I don't understand, and I don't think I ever will. But yeah, you know, it's just a huge part of being who we are and the things that, one of the many things that we have to deal with. And just like my video of last week, how I mentioned about, you know, like the not telling guys that I was trans and stuff like that. This is also one of the main reasons why we're not always so comfortable telling you right off the bat. Just because, you know, we're off, like automatically, that's all a lot of guys are interested is having a sexual experiment, or, you know, it's just like, I think what I've learned through my whole journey is that you 100% have to be comfortable with someone who you're willing to, you know, see yourself with in the future, or, you know, what other reasons you have for seeing people, to be comfortable enough to talk about them, the stuff that you want to try, or things that you're willing to try, or things that are okay with you, and etc. Because like when I would talk with guys, and some guys, like I would honestly think to myself like, oh, maybe this is it. Automatically there were like a lot of like sex things that they wanted to try, and I 100% wasn't always comfortable with trying new things, because for a lot of reasons. But, you know, I always just said yes because, you know, I wanted to make him happy, because that's the type of person that I am, is that I always want to make people happy. I'm a people pleaser, unfortunately. So I think it's very important to build a good, stable relationship with someone, and talking about the things that you both are willing to try and stuff like that, without you feeling like you are only being used for sexual pleasure. Because, you know, I have felt that way a lot of times with a lot of, you know, guys that I dated or whatever, or seen. But yeah, this is just a video to help my trans women out there, and especially younger trans women who are younger or just barely transitioning. And, you know, like I said, I wasn't educated about this. I didn't even know any of this until maybe like 2.5 years into my transition. So I was like literally completely clueless and in the dark what tranny chasers were. And a lot of them, I put myself in a lot of situations where I thought that I was, made me feel pretty and stuff like that. But, you know, it was all for all the wrong reasons. So I had to learn the hard way. And I'm here making this video so you don't have to learn the hard way. But yeah, so I have gotten a few messages about doing a other part 2 to tips in dating trans women, and I do want to make one. I just want to get more, I need to ask more of my friends, because like most the video that I did before, it was more mainly the things that made me feel, you know, comfortable and stuff like that. But I want to ask more people, because obviously there's a lot of things that a lot of people are and aren't comfortable with. So I will be making that video soon enough, not so soon, but soon. But yeah, so thank you for watching this video. I hope you learned something new. Again, you know, I want to share a lot of my experiences, but I also want to, you know, educate as much as I can, because it's really important to know things like this, because, you know, you can, regardless of like, you know, guys being, you know, being tranny chasers and stuff like that, obsession can be led to a lot of things. Like, obsession drives people to do a lot of crazy things. I've seen it, and it's not safe. And basically, this is what what my video is about, is that I want you to be safe, and I want you to have a healthy, you know, outcome with your relationships or datings or, you know, stuff like that. But yeah, again, thank you for watching. I hope you learned something new, and I hope you continue watching my YouTube, because girl, we're almost like 900. So that's the goal, is to reach 1K hopefully in a few months. Because I really don't want to expand this whole thing, you know, where I do open the doors, not to the trans community, but, you know, like opening the doors for my community, for other people to learn. Just because like I feel like we're like in the middle, like we're willing to open the doors so you guys can educate yourselves, and then we're not. And I feel like a lot of like, I feel like people who have like a more higher profile than I do, like, you know, like influencers and stuff like that, who are trans and stuff, don't shine enough light about like the stuff that, you know, the trans community actually deals with. And I feel like it's important to know this, because, you know, if we're willing to, you know, be accepted and be seen for who we are and etc., I feel like we have to meet, you know, the cis community halfway there. You know, like, again, like, a lot of people might disagree with me, because, you know, people are probably going to say that, you know, it shouldn't have to be the way that, you shouldn't have to be that way, you know, people should just be educated in general. But, you know, it's not just something that you just wake up and like are educated with. You know, you have to learn one way or another. You know, learning through another person is pretty much, you know, I feel like it's more resourceful than learning through the internet. That's just my own opinion. But yeah, thank you again for the 6th time for watching this. And I hope I see you guys next time for the new video coming soon, hopefully. I hope you guys all have a happy Easter. This probably wouldn't be uploaded until the weekend the weekend coming, but hopefully, yeah. So I hope you guys have a special holiday. Stay pink. And I'll see you guys soon. Ciao.